So the big question is this: how are leaders like you that recognize people and technology are the backbone of the company they're building continue to make progress when they have no clear idea on how to develop individuals and utilize technology in a way that helps them remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is Tom and Michaela, and welcome to the Heart and Hustle Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Heart and Hustle Podcast. Of course, I am Tom, and this is Miss
Michaela.
And there she goes again. Do I sound okay in your ears? Does it sound reverberation?
No, it's not too bad.
Doesn't sound too bad?
No.
For me, it sounds like it's a motorboat, something going on here.
Do we need to figure something out?
We need to figure something out, but I'll let Victoria, figure something out.
Okay.
There you go. She's always kind of overwatching us a little bit, so overseeing us. But anyways, these past few episodes, I've been struggling a lot, like figuring out kind of what's our mojo, what's our rhyme, what are we trying to do? And, the podcast originally was supposed to be about you and I, kind of our daily lives, what we're doing. But, quite frankly, we're just boring.
We are boring.
I mean, we got dogs, we got a house, and lots of yard work and mowing, and
yeah, we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of great things, but I don't think anybody else wants to hear about what we did all weekend.
Oh, I would love to have that Truman TV show back going again.
Okay, he's making his turn onto Lancaster Square.
But I strapped a GoPro to my lawnmower and I watched it, and it kind of got me off for a little bit. I was like, hey, this is fun. 15 minutes worth of work here, and it was amazing. But yet at the end of the day, it's just like, kind of boring.
Yeah.
But what's not boring is that over the past several weeks, I have gotten, I don't know how many, probably a dozen and a half, maybe a couple dozen, just questions about us. And, that's one of the things I was thinking about over the past, week, and kind of the direction where we should take this podcast. And I think we should kind of turn into more of a show, more of a Q&A type question where people kind of ask us questions, we then answer them and kind of give feedback for them.
Okay, we can try that.
And we can try that. I think we do really good in those types of scenarios versus that daily vlog thing with you and I, because it gets kind of boring watching us scoop up dog poop all day.
That's all we do.
That's all we do.
Wake up, work, clean up dog poop, cook supper, go to bed, start it all the next day.
There we go. So anyways, we're going to be responding to a series of questions, and we're going to kind of put the questions up here, kind of that typical ding, here they are, as they come in. And I don't think you've seen any of these questions yet.
No.
Nah. And
that makes me nervous.
Yes, and I've been kind of holding them back a little bit from you too, because you're much better answering this stuff when you're hearing about it for the first time, as opposed to having to think about something.
Okay.
Because when women have to process things, they just process too much. And
Really? Are you going to go there?
Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Don't go there.
Well, like when you first met, it's like, what do you think about this? And you go, I got to process this.
Hey, you wing it and you fly off the cuff and make instant decisions like this. And I'm like, let's look at all the pros and cons here. Let's figure this out. Let's step back and think about it. You're like, no, go.
Ask for forgiveness later, I guess.
Yeah.
In some occasions.
We're very different when it comes to how we...
Anyways, I did write them down. Actually, I cheated. I copied and pasted them, even though we didn't use our remarkable twos that we got last week.
Oh, those rock.
Those are pretty cool.
Those are nice.
So, anyways.
If you like pen and paper, which I do.
It even sounds like a pencil.
It does.
Devin, who he tested mine, took it for a test drive last week. He loved it. He's like, man, this thing sounds like real paper.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool stuff. So anyways, back to our questions. The first question we were asked is, and this is kind of more leading down towards this HR kind of people services thing, if that's a word, I guess.
Okay.
But how do you deal with confrontation with people? How do you deal with confrontation with people? And that was all that was done to it. And I'm guessing the question came in like, this person's like, oh crap, I'm now being confronted with something I don't like in the workplace. What are the top 3 or 4 things you recommend for dealing with confrontation?
I was going to say that's like a big wide open question, and the circumstances and the scenarios completely change depending on what's going on.
They do.
Or the answers to those scenarios change depending on what's going on.
So let's make it really basic. In my mind, confrontation, let's say a person was, they felt maybe embarrassed because they were called upon a meeting and they got in trouble or something. I mean, that's more school, I guess. Let's think about some. Let's think
happens
about
all the time, though. It does. It happens all the time.
confrontation in the workplace where person A says something and says something that may have offended somebody or may have made them upset with anything. You know, what are the top 3 things in your mind that person should do to kind of address that?
Well, I mean, without details or knowing anything or just very basic conversation here, I think that person should first go to that other person and try to work it out like adults.
Talk to your neighbor.
Talk to your neighbor.
Try to figure it out.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen all the time.
Do you think it happens a lot?
No.
I don't think it happens.
I think people talk to other people about what's going on, and I think they stew and fester and gossip and, you know, I think sometimes those conversations are difficult to have. Sometimes they're uncomfortable, and so people like to avoid them. But that would be my first recommendation, is to go directly to that person and have that conversation. But
what happens if they feel threatened or they really don't, they feel like they're going to further kind of go down that rabbit hole?
Again, depending on who, what, when, where, all those scenarios. If it's employee to an employee, you know, that employee can talk to their manager or somebody in leadership to kind of help walk them through that. Sometimes it's just a matter of bouncing things off to somebody that you can trust. Sometimes it's not a matter of making a big deal or a big issue out of something, but sometimes you just kind of have to talk through things with somebody, and hopefully you have somebody in your organization that you can talk through those things with, and they can help lead and direct that. And again, depending on the scenario, a supervisor or manager might have to step in and help handle that situation.
Right. You know, back when I worked at some large companies, some very, very large companies, like multi-thousands of people, it was, you know, as a network admin at the time or engineer or whatever, our group would get requests for moves all the time, where person A is moving from, you know, cubicle 1 to cubicle 82 or something like that. You know, they're like literally bouncing around. And finally I was like, you know, this is crazy. All this work for moving people around, for what reason? And I kid you not, 70% of the time was because they didn't like their cube mates. They either talked too loud, they smelled, they typed too loud or whatever it was. You know, it was crazy, but people literally would shuffle cubes all week long because they didn't like somebody.
Oh, wow. That's kind of sad.
It was horrible.
That's
and all that
sad.
work and all that time, and people would just complain about it and complain about their work environment or, you know, just generally just unhappy people.
That's hard.
So I don't know. I guess if you're mad, go talk to your boss, and if you don't like it, then leave. Because I think once people get to that point where they're upset and, you know, they have to confront somebody every time or every other day of the week, you know, they're not happy. Mm-hmm. So it's just better just to walk out and leave at that point and say goodbye.
That could be the case.
So.
That being said, I mean, there's always confrontation, even the most healthiest environments,
Absolutely,
even the most, you know, greatest friends and teammates. There's always confrontation, and you have to kind of know the difference between good, healthy confrontation and dealing with things and moving forward and hitting things head on, and making big issues out of small things. Right.
Well, to that, question 2, I'm going to read now here from the order kind of we got them in here, at least here, but it says, oh boy. This may be off topic.
What is it?
What margaritas do you recommend for a beginning margarita drinker?
Seriously, that was a question that came in?
I think it's all the episodes where we happen to be talking about margaritas or drinking margaritas or whatever it is, and we kind of are margarita snobs.
We are margarita snobs. Margarita connoisseurs, I would like to
snobs.
Say. Okay.
Actually, we should get that domain name, margaritasnobs.com. We should look tonight and see if we can get it.
Yeah. We should just make a whole margarita tour in Lincoln, Nebraska.
You know, I think for me, the best judgment is how we've always done it. Not to say this is the right way or the wrong way, but whatever place you're going to try out, say if you're going to go to restaurant A, any restaurant A, and you just order the house margarita and chips and salsa. That's all you do.
Oh, yes. That's step number 1. House
steps?
margarita and chips and salsa.
Well, at the end of the day, where you want to judge. Now, if the chips and salsa you have to pay for them,
No good.
Yeah, no, you get out of there, man. Chips and salsa are always free.
Except Tipsy
Well,
Tina's.
we aren't going to go there yet. Let's not go there yet.
Okay.
Because that took us time to figure out who Tipsy Tina's, where they were, and when they opened, and
Yes.
all that kind of jazz. But
we were really leery about Tipsy Tina's.
but stage 1, and we're leery for a good point.
Yes.
We'll talk about that point here in a second.
Okay. We're going to talk about that.
Step 1, chips and salsa, house margarita, and kind of break out a spreadsheet, grab your iPhone, and kind of rate this on a 1 to 10 scale here a little bit. So
It typically has to be an authentic Mexican restaurant.
it has to be
as well.
authentic, and what she means by authentic is there is a van with all the family members pulling up, and they all go to work every day. And there's a van that pulls up, and they all go home every day.
They have the best chips and salsa and the best margaritas.
It
It's
is
just
really
hands down.
authentic.
I'm
And-
sorry, authentic.
Yes, and I mean authentic where, most of them, not most of them, but there's a lot of them that are, first-time residents of the United States. And
They go visit
living
their
here.
family all the time.
Yeah, in fact, we texted a guy the other day, and he was in Mexico for a family emergency. It was our margarita dude. So, well, kind of. But anyways, but literally, go to a place, chips and salsa, margarita, just house, and that's it. And kind of start figuring what your palate's like, what your taste is like, and kind of go from there. And then as you graduate, you're going to get into what I call fufu
Fufu margaritas.
Yeah, fufu margs. And, you get the infused tequila or jalapeno,
Lavender.
lavender or whatever. And, by far, Hook and Lime,
Oh, yeah.
I
they rock.
think, in Omaha,
Yeah.
there are our most favorite
Fufu
margarita place for
margaritas.
fufu margaritas.
Yeah.
I mean, really good. And, there was a time, and probably even now, we walked in, they gave us our table. But, we got to pay for chips and salsa there.
Yeah, that stinks.
It does stink, but they have really good fufu margaritas.
Yeah.
So, but I think number 1, I mean, find that place you like. Make sure it's authentic. Make sure, in the place that we do happen to frequent. I think the dad's the chef, the son's the waiter, the son's wife is a waitress, the mother is the hostess or something, and the cousin does something else, and it's just one big family.
And they're the best.
And they're the best.
They
They make really, really good stuff.
know what we like and just order for us, and we don't even have to ask.
Nope, you kind of get to that point. In fact, we had one place we used to love. We used to frequent quite a bit, and the waitress left, and she didn't know who we walked in one day. It was like meeting all new people again,
Yeah.
and so we ended up finding a new place. And guess what?
She worked there.
She worked there, so it was kind of
She
funny. So
remembered us.
yeah. So anyways,
I'm
we
not
had a
sure
really
if
good.
that's a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing at all. But then I think at the end of the day, find the taste that you like. Just really kind of enjoy it a little bit, I guess. But I
That's
think
so
our number 1
funny.
pick right now is probably Tipsy's.
Yeah. I mean, they have pretty good margaritas.
Yeah, Tipsy's is probably our number 1. Number 2, I really, really like Las Margaritas,
Yeah.
south of town. I think Don Abrams style. That's it.
We have a couple other Mexican restaurants, though, that we absolutely
Yeah.
love. So
So anyways,
lots of good places in
yeah.
Lincoln.
So
Yes, wise words from Tom Nielsen tonight.
yeah. So follow up with your questions, or I guess let us know what your favorite margarita place is inside of the Nebraska borders, because we visited a lot of them. Probably
Always up for new ones,
all
too.
through I-80 from here to Colorado. We've seen them all.
True. Very true.
Even the Old Amigos that was turned into a Mexican restaurant that was authentic. We've been there. But the worst place for a margarita is not
no longer in existence.
no longer in existence anymore. 12th Street Pub, 12th and O, Lincoln, Nebraska. We walked in. The salsa was like paste pecani sauce. It was
Paste,
so bad.
literally.
Stale chips from Sam's.
Chips from yeah.
And the margarita was literally about this big, and we could not walk afterwards. We were done. It was like drinking gasoline.
I think it was like 99% tequila
It was
and
a-
a splash of,
I don't think there was even a splash.
okay, maybe a wedge of lemon.
It was like 4:00 in the afternoon, and we're holding the buildings up, saying no way.
Not good.
We're walking around for 3 miles until we can drive home. So
Yeah, not good.
it was not a good day. Fun day, but not a good day.
Not a good day.
So, anyways,
Uh,
question number
questions.
3. How do you separate your business and personal life? Do you ever put your phone down?
That's a legit question. That is like, sometimes I wonder, do you ever put your phone down, honey?
So let's talk about you. Let me try to actually this. How do you honestly believe right now that there is a separation between, and this person here was saying, how do you, I'm assuming you as us, not
Right.
them.
As us as a couple, or us just.
Yes, not us, not meaning that this person wants advice on how they should do it because they're asking the wrong people here for that advice. But how do you separate personal from business? Go.
How do I separate? For us, with us, there is no separation. There's life. There's life, there's business, there is no separation.
Right.
I mean, half of our friends are clients and half of our family are, it's just all like interwoven.
Half of our friends are clients and half of our clients are friends.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
That's just kind of how we roll.
I don't know. There's no separation, and 8 to 5 Monday through Friday doesn't exist for us.
No.
And
I don't want it to exist for us though.
And no. I
think we have boundaries a little bit. Do we?
No. I don't think we really do. If there's a job to get done, we do it. And if our clients need something from us, we do it, whether it's 9:30 on a Monday morning or 9:30 on a Saturday night. It's just how it is. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Every once in a while we get a little bit worn out and worn down and like, okay, I just need to breathe for a minute, but we step away, we breathe for a minute, and we're right back in the game.
I think we have to take a step back. I agree with you. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I think if you have two people, a couple, that's not in tune with each other on that same thing, it's going to be a really bad thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up in a not very good place really, really fast.
Oh yeah.
So I think if
we could not do this if we didn't have the same love and the same passion and the same desires and the same, just for business, for our clients, for everything.
Right.
We couldn't do it.
No, we'd probably be divorced in a year.
It wouldn't last that long.
Well, we would have been gone by now.
Yeah, it would be difficult. Because I don't know, in some ways it very much helps that we, work together and we understand each other's struggles and stresses. That's huge. For us to understand where the other one is coming from is huge. When you have, couples who one goes to one job, the other goes to the other job, sometimes you just can't.
We talked about that the other day. Like, what would happen if you would go, say you say, I am tired of working, in this fast-paced environment. I'm tired of dealing with chaos and people and employees and kind of all that stuff. And I'm going to go work someplace from an 8 to 5 job at blank doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I said, you know what? I agree with you. I'm going to quit and I'm going to go over here and work for somebody and do blank for whatever. And we're going to both get up in the morning, say goodbye, separate all day long, come home at 6 o'clock at night, deal with family, kids, whatever else you got going on. And then finally at 7:30 at night, we're going to sit down and say, hey, how was your day?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't. It would be very lonely and separated. We just, in our scenario now, we know. Like, I know we still have our days like where we're separated all day. You're gone doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, but like we know what each other's doing and we know why and we know how and we know I
think for me it's like the reason I can never go back and how we keep it personal is because we can hack that, because the ultimate goal, like my ultimate benefit is time.
Right.
And when we can kind of control our time and what we do and how we do it and when we do it, that's kind of the hack, I think, into figuring out how we can work together 24/7 and have that separation, but yet we're 100% together. Right. There's literally no separation between, work and non-work. It's like we're outside mowing, or I'm outside mowing and you're pulling weeds, or vice versa, or whatever, and you're probably still listening to a podcast that's probably somewhat work related or knowledge that you're going to pick up through work.
Always, yeah.
And I'm the same way for the most part. And typically music sometimes, obviously, but it's just there's always some spin on it to learn more. So I guess for us, we don't separate. It's probably hard to think about.
Even when we're eating at our favorite authentic Mexican restaurants, we're still like
I mean, I
bouncing
think-
ideas off each other. And how should we handle this? And what about this? And what do we have going on next week? And
I think we're lying in bed the other night, and I just about fell asleep, and I woke back up. I'm like, "Oh, hun, did you clock out for the day?"
yeah,
No, just kidding.
no,
That's kind of funny.
yeah. There's no separation. I'm not sure how to answer that one.
No,
other than-
there's no separation. I don't think there should be, nor do I ever want there to be.
Some people wouldn't be able to handle that though.
I have a hard time dealing with individuals that are very much bookends like that. Here I got to work, and now I go home. Now I go to work, and now I go home.
The world is becoming that way though. I mean, you hear about work-life balance all the time, and the world is becoming very separated and very protective of their time, and I understand that, but there's very much a dividers.
I think there is a separation and divider there for those that don't have the ambition and the drive to get ahead and do more with their careers. I think most individuals that have that desire and that drive to take their career to the proverbial next level, or they want to be somewhere, they can see themselves in 10 years with their name on the building and everything else, and they want to be that entrepreneur, they don't have the ability to separate.
Yeah.
I never, ever, ever had that ability. Not to say I am the end all by any means, but most entrepreneurs that I know don't have that ability either, because there's so much drive and passion into what they want to do. They'll stop at nothing to make sure that they accomplish those goals in life.
Well, yeah, and there's definitely, I mean, you're talking about the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee,
Absolutely.
or an employee who wants to become an entrepreneur. A lot of employees just
I don't think
they're
employees can
okay being
become
employees.
I don't think employees can be entrepreneurs.
You were an employee once.
Yes, I was, but not for very long.
True.
Maybe Long John Silver's or Neural Lumber when I was a kid. May Telemarketing, I got fired from there.
You did not make a good employee, did you?
No, I sucked. I've been fired from more jobs.
It's funny though. A lot of entrepreneurs do not make good employees.
No, I would make the most horrendous employee.
That's funny.
Oh, wow. God, I suck.
Hey,
I
that's
should
okay.
tell you
You're doing
I should
okay.
tell you what happened at Merrill Lumber and I when I was about 16 years old. I get my cardigan on Merrill Lumber and the coat, Yeah, I got in some trouble. Got fired from that one too.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
was
talk
it?
about that later.
Not for this podcast.
Not for this podcast. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Anyways, number 4. Boy, oh boy. When you are setting up your startup, how do you price your services? Do you price them low or have a better service at a higher price? Oh boy.
And go.
That shit just sets me off. And the reason is because, I watch so many of these groups that are out there from Reddit or Facebook groups or blogs or whatever they are, and people are always saying, charge what you're worth inside the IT field, and every company has in the IT services world, people are charging anywhere from $200 to $300 per seat, meaning that per computer station that they manage as an IT services company, they'll charge anywhere from $200 to $300 per seat. So if you have per month. So if you have 10 employees, that bill would be, you would charge them $3,000 a month to fully manage. And of course that includes probably their computer. It includes, the hardware asset as well. It includes, managed wireless networks and managed antivirus and managed security and managed everything. And basically that's all in. That's basically saying that the company does not have to pay for anything, hardware, technology, anyway. This is all in managing those devices. And so they go in at a rate, but 98% of these yahoos out there, they think that they're worth it, and they're not. So when you go in and price your services, do you go in high and, become the cream of the crop and, kind of float yourself to the top because you think you're so expensive and better than everybody? Seinfeld Mendabom. I'm better than you. Anyways, hope Victoria can find that clip. That's one of my all-time favorites.
I think you're better than me, huh?
But anyways, I digress. But, from my personal point of view is, I think at the end of the day that you should go into new business and give so much until it hurts. Like almost free, and I hate to say this, there are going to be so many people that are against this, but give your services away for free until you thoughtfully can actually manage or understand that environment to the point that you can sit down and run it. Because I've seen so many people come up and say, yeah, sign up for services and I'm going to manage your environment. Talking strictly IT here, maybe even a little bit of HR, but they're going to start paying you for expertise that they don't know if you have yet or not. So there's that piece of it on the other side of it, like you're dating that person for the first time, of like, well, is this person going to be the right fit? Am I going to like him? Or am I going to like her? Or whatever. So whenever we kind of engage with new clients, how we do it is oftentimes for the first month or two, it's a honeymoon period. It's free. We don't charge people for that first month or month and a half worth of services because, quite frankly, I want to know if I want to date the person, and I can't look at the building. I can't say, yeah, absolutely, I want to, engage in a relationship with this person and understand them and get to know their deepest, darkest desires when it comes into, business and IT and networking stuff and everything else. Because when we do engage those people, we become part of their leadership team. So we want to make sure that we're comfortable around them, I guess. So for me, if you're a brand new startup, meaning that you're a 22-year-old kid trying just to kind of get your feet on the ground, give it away for free. Literally go in and try to get to know the company, understand who you're working for, get in at the bottom dollar. Don't understand that the person that you're probably beating out of that position is charging more. Understand that, yes, you are going at a lower rate. Understand that they are going to probably come back and say, well, you're a bottom feeder. You're just trying to get to work. But what happens is you start to build a lot of credence. What's the word?
Clout?
And we can use clout. We need like a... whatever. We're trying to build the ability to be experts in your industry. So on day one, how I did it is I wanted eye care facilities. I wanted banks. I wanted healthcare facilities. I wanted, muscle car shops. I wanted to have every type of client I could in the beginning on day one, because I wanted that foundation, that like brick foundation of trying to figure out, I really want to understand their business and their business model and how they make money. Because once I had 2 optometrists on, for example, or once I had a couple banks on, once I had some manufacturing shops on there, once I had some construction companies, I really started to understand what it took to run those types of industries. And after about 2.5, 3, 4 years of doing this, now you get to the point where you understand behavioral health companies, you understand construction companies, you understand muscle car shops and fabrication shops and the healthcare industry, and you understand optometry, and you understand, every industry out there, and you understand that what they need to actually run their business. And once you get that, then at that point, you can start charging more for that next person that comes on. But always treat that base the same. In fact, I've had clients now for 23 years. We probably never raised prices on them. Ever. I don't think even the cost of inflation we've raised prices. In fact, there's some out there now that we're charging less than we did probably 15 years ago. And that's because, nothing ever happens. We're really kind of that good here, and we manage those environments really, really well, and nothing breaks. So we look at it in the sense is like, why am I going to bill this person $300 a month for services which they don't feel like they're going to get value out of? Right. I can say there's value. Yes, I could probably sell $300 to $500 a month if I had to per seat. But that's not how you do it, and that's not who we are. Right. There's just a sense of value there. Mm-hmm. So when you do price your services, look at it from multiple different angles. Look at it to say, hey, you're brand new to the game. You're going to come in with a bunch of old dogs here, and you really want to try and ramp up. Or maybe you just think you're all that, and you can come in and bill at such a high rate. You make the perception that you're better than everybody else. But in reality, when you're driving around those, $200,000 vehicles, you're not making a very good point. because when you do that, it looks like you're charging too much money. So hence that's why I have my 2014 Escape with 208,000 miles on it now.
Yeah, we were talking about our 10-year-old car and how we just bought a 20-year-old car, and we're super excited about it.
We did. We found the most crazy car. I love that 2004 or 2006 model car with like no miles coming from an older lady or older person with, barely driven. I think she drove at 3,000 miles in the past a year for the past like 7 years.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Super
So
exciting.
Pick those things up, just playing with nickels at that point.
Heck yeah.
So give us your thoughts of the show. Let us know. Keep those questions coming in. We'd love to be able to answer them. And I think that's kind of been the path right now of what we're going to try to convert this thing, do more of a QA show and so on and so forth, and hope it wasn't boring. So any parting thoughts? Okay, sounds good. So anyways.
Yeah. Okay, guess not.
Anyways, catch you guys later. And questions, comments, let us know. Talk to you later. Bye.